Dear children, you may have heard about the Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Oman, like countries. And you may also have heard about China. All these are Asian countries. Here in this lesson, in this part of the lesson, we are going to study about the Middle Age administration systems, Middle Age administration order in Asian continent, mainly in Asian continent. The Arab Empire, Ottoman Empire and the Mongol Empire. We are going to study about these three empires in this part of the lesson. At first, we are going to study about Arab Empire. Arab Empire. Arabia. You may have heard about Arabian Nights, a famous book, Arabian Nights. Arabia, the region that is included with the Saudi Arabia, Iraq and Iran regions. The Arabia, Arab countries, Arab world had made its contributions in various fields in medieval period. For the medieval world, Arabs had made tremendous contributions, a lot of contributions in various fields. Their contributions in cultural realms that we had studied in our earlier classes. Now we are going to study here the political order that existed in Arabia during medieval period. It is starting from the time of Prophet Muhammad, the prophet of Islam religion. He was the head of Arab Empire. After Prophet Muhammad, caliphs became the rulers of Arab Empire. You can see the map of Arab Empire in our textbook. You please see that. After the death of Prophet Muhammad in 632 CE, caliphs became the rulers of Arabia, Arab Empire. We can classify the Arab dynasties. The Arab dynasties who ruled Arabia as three: caliphs, 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 Umayyad dynasty and Abbasid dynasty. Caliphs, Umayyad dynasty and Abbasid dynasty. The capital of caliphs were Medina. Medina was the capital of caliphs. And Damascus was the capital of Umayyad dynasty. And Baghdad was the capital of Abbasid dynasty. Medina was the capital of caliphs. Damascus was the capital of Umayyad dynasty. And Baghdad was the capital of Abbasid dynasty. These were the three dynasties who ruled Arabia. In our map that is given there in our textbook, these three places are marked: Medina, Damascus and Baghdad. You please see that. After Khalifa Umar, Khalifa Ali, you may have heard the stories of Khalifa Ali and Khalifa Umar. A list of early caliphs who ruled Arabia, that's also given there in our textbook. After caliphs, Umayyad dynasty had ruled Arabia. Umayyad. Their capital was Damascus. The capital of Umayyad dynasty was Damascus. Then Umayyads introduced a centralized administration system. A centralized administration system in Arabia. They also introduced coins. Gold coin called dinar and silver coins called dirhams were introduced by Umayyad dynasty. And after Umayyads, Arabia was ruled by Abbasid dynasty. Abbasid dynasty. The important ruler of Abbasid dynasty was Harun al-Rashid. Harun al-Rashid was the important ruler of Abbasid dynasty. And he had introduced several administration reforms in Arabia. Several administration reforms that made the administration reforms introduced by Harun al-Rashid made him different from other rulers of Arabia. He established several hospitals there in Arabia for the first time. Established hospitals. He introduced a new code of law, judicial system, a strict judicial system was introduced by Harun al-Rashid, a strict judicial system. It was based on Islamic principles, religious principles. And the people could easily travel everywhere in the empire without fear because of the strict law and order, strict judicial system. All these were the contributions of Harun al-Rashid. He made several hospitals and he introduced a judicial system. And he also had contact with the Holy Roman Empire. We have studied about the Holy Roman Empire in our last class. Charlemagne was the emperor. Harun al-Rashid had sent his ambassador, his representatives to Holy Roman Empire, to Charlemagne's court. All these are about the Arab Empire. Arab Empire, it was very vast. There were three dynasties. Caliphs, second Umayyad dynasty, and third Abbasid dynasty. The important king of Abbasid dynasty was Harun al-Rashid. He had introduced a centralized administration system. He introduced a a judicial system. He he established several hospitals there, and he had a contact with the Holy Roman Empire. All these are about the Arab Empire that we have to study here in our lesson. And the next empire that we are studying here, that's about the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire. We had studied about the fall of Eastern Roman Empire. Fall of Eastern Roman Empire. It was in 1453 as a result of the attack of Turks. When Turks captured Constantinople, the Eastern Roman Empire collapsed. That we had studied. The leader of Turks, Muhammad II, was a ruler of Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire. And he captured Constantinople and made it as a part of Ottoman Empire, and made several regions of Eastern Roman Empire as a part of Ottoman Empire, and he could make Ottoman Empire very vast. You can see the map of Ottoman Empire in our textbook. You please see that. The important ruler of Ottoman Empire was Suleiman. Suleiman was the important ruler of Ottoman Empire. He made several wars. He captured several places of Europe, and Europe could understand the military strength of Asia at that time, at the time of Suleiman. And he was also called as Al-Qanuni, means lawgiver. Suleiman was the important ruler of Ottoman Empire. And here in this part we have to study about Muhammad II, who captured Constantinople from Eastern Roman Empire and made Ottoman Empire very vast, and Suleiman was the important ruler, and he was also called as Al-Qanuni, the lawgiver, and he made his empire very vast by conquering nearby places and conquering European regions, and he made his empire very vast and introduced a centralized administration system. And the next empire that we are going to study here, it is Mongol Empire. Mongolia. Mongol Empire. Mongolia, it is the region between Russia and China. Russia and China. And this Mongol region, it is included the regions like deserts, meadows and mountains. A part of our Everest, a part of our Himalayan ranges that are included, that was included in Mongol region, Mongol Empire. That means mountains were there, deserts were there, and meadows were there. And the people in Mongol, several tribal people were there. Several tribes were there. They were not settled in a certain region. They were nomads. They were leading a nomadic life. They wandered here and there on horseback. Several tribes were there. Genghis Khan was the king. He was the emperor. He was the ruler of Mongol Empire. He established the Mongol Empire by unifying the different tribes that are existed in the Mongol region. There is a film about Genghis Khan. You can see it while searching in YouTube. Genghis Khan. Several films are there about him. About the history of Mongol Empire and about the history of Genghis Khan. His capital was in Karakoram region. In Karakoram region, it's a highest range, mountain range in Himalayan region, Himalayan mountain range near Siberia. And he had established a very vast empire. The map of Mongol Empire that is given there in our textbook. You please see that. Genghis Khan had maintained a strong army. The major attraction, major characteristics of Mongol army was its cavalry, strong cavalry. And he had a system of using cannon. A different system of using cannon. The cannons were used upon horseback. It was another important characteristic of Mongol army. Mongol army could use cannons upon horseback. By sitting upon horseback, they could use cannons. So they could conquer the places easily. Their army became very strong. And Genghis Khan also introduced a postal system by using horses. That system was called as, that postal system introduced by Genghis Khan was known as courier system. Now courier system is there. It is a private postal system that is existing in our region. The name of Genghis Khan's postal system by using horseback soldiers was also known as courier system. And he also had maintained an espionage system. He could to collect informations from the people, from his subjects, from different part of his empire. Is there any conspiracy against him? The movement of military, the movement of his enemies. To understand all this, he had he had maintained an efficient espionage system. All these were the importance of Genghis Khan's rule. After Genghis Khan, Timur became the ruler. He had attacked India. The details about Timur's attack. Timur had reached up to Delhi. That we needn't study here. Then also you can collect information about the attack of Timur. He had collected several treasures, several amount of gold coins from India, several treasures from India. You can collect information regarding it from Google, from internet, by searching in internet. Mongol Empire, it was a strong empire. It was established by Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was the important king, important ruler, important emperor of Mongol dynasty and the Mongol empire. About the empires that had existed in Africa and the other part of the world, that we will study in our next class. Now we are going to wind up. Namaskaram.